Fearless Friday, high school football coverage with the power of fearlessfriday.com. Every game, every hit. Every Friday night. Fearless Friday preview show starts now.
And welcome into our Fearless Friday preview show. We have got a triumvirate of fantastic playoff games that we're going to get to this evening. We've got myself here at Dardanelle, Bauxite visiting Dardanelle, I should say. We've also got our own Ben Creighton out there at Lake Hamilton. Sylvan Hills taking on the Wolves out there. And then also our own Tyler Thomason at Valonia, where Wynn will be taking on Valonia here. But before we get to those fellas here, let's start here tonight. This game right here is going to be probably one of the better ones across the state. And a lot of times in this playoff first-round matchup, you see a lot of good teams against maybe some lesser teams in this one. Not so much here at Dardanelle tonight as they are hosting the Bauxite Miners. Again, I cannot stress this game enough. Both these teams, it's going to be really fascinating to watch to see who really imposes their will in this one. Dardanelle coming up just short in the 4A4, finished second in that 4A4 conference. Obviously, Ozark winning that one, really the only loss for the Sand Lizards on the year. Bauxite, though, coming out of that tough 4A7 conference, losing to the triumvirate in that conference of Robinson, Arkadelphia, and Nashville. So hard to say what the Miners are really made of. Gave all three of those teams, I should say, a little bit of a run for their money, but really just too much firepower from those three teams to really get a good gauge on what the Miners are capable of. Obviously, the Miners finishing fourth in that conference, so they beat up on the competition that they were supposed to beat up on in that conference. But offensively, the Miners tend to be a little slower. They tend to plot things out here, run-heavy offense. Defensively, they've given up quite a bit of points. But again, when you're going to give it up against the firepower of the likes of Nashville, Arkadelphia, and Robinson, you're going to give up some points. So it's going to be real interesting to see how that defense really adjusts to the Sand Lizards here. Sand Lizards, though, big-time firepower on offense, putting up over 300 points on the season. Defensively, pretty sturdy as well, just a hair over 200 on the year. So this one is really going to be fascinating to watch here. I see the bands have already come out here. We're starting to see some of the stands fill in a little bit. Cheerleaders about to take the field for all the pregame festivities. So this one ought to be real fun to watch tonight here. We've got some local celebs out here as well. We'll get to them here in just a second. But I do want to toss it out to Lake Hamilton. Ben Creighton taking on this game here. This one's a little near and dear to my heart here. I'm actually a graduate of Sylvan Hills, class of 02, represent, baby. But Ben, what do you got for us down there?
All right, Jay, appreciated you here in the air tonight by Phil Collins blasting over the loudspeakers right now. You definitely know it's serious. It is playoff time down here at Lake Hamilton as the Wolves will host the Sylvan Hills Bears in the first round of the 6A playoffs. Now, anybody looking at the bracket would probably think, okay, Lake Hamilton should be favored in this game. But here's the thing to keep in mind. This Sylvan Hills squad a year ago only won 3 games going into the playoffs, and they made it all the way to the 6A semifinals with a couple big upsets in the playoffs last year. So do not count out this Sylvan Hills squad. And the thing about this Bears offense is they're going to have to keep up with Lake Hamilton's offense. They have only scored 25 or more points 4 times this entire season. And we know the Lake Hamilton Wolves can really put up offensive numbers in that Flexbone offense. They have averaged in the high 30s and the 40s throughout this entire season. Meanwhile, you talk about Lake Hamilton, kind of a disappointing ending to the regular season after falling to Benton and Greenwood to close out the regular season going into the playoffs. But we hear it all the time. I know it's kind of cliched, but it's a new season once you get to the playoffs, and I'm sure Tommy Gillerin has been telling his guys that throughout the entire week as they get ready for the first round of the 6A playoffs. This after a tremendous season where the Wolves won 8 games this year. A big improvement for Tommy Gillerin's squad coaching his alma mater. That's going to do it here from Lake Hamilton. Let's see what else is going on in the rest of the state.
Help us all tonight, coaches, players, and fans.
And thank you, Ben. Again, we saw Sylvan Hills last year really make a nice run last year, especially after only winning 2 or 3 games in the regular season last season. Really got hot come playoff time. So it's really going to be interesting to see how that one does play out here. Thanks a lot, Ben, here. All right, moving on over to probably another one of the better games in the state, Vilonia. Talked about Sylvan Hills being hot. Vilonia, one of these teams really getting hot here at the end of the year. Win, a team that is always dangerous. A lot of tradition with them. Tyler Thomason has more from Vilonia.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tyler Thomason coming to you from the sidelines here in Vilonia, where the Vilonia Eagles are hosting the Win Yellow Jackets in playoff action here in Faulkner County tonight. You may be able to see behind me, Win is on the field right now, still warming up. Want to let you know a little bit about these two teams. Vilonia coming into this overall 7-3. Win coming into this overall 6-4. Win has the momentum. I want to tell you a little bit about Vilonia. They have lost their last 4 games coming into tonight's matchup, but they are hosting the matchup here, playoff matchup. From what I understand, this may be, I believe, the first time they've hosted a playoff game in at least 10 years. So a lot of people on hand tonight. They're still filing in. We are about half an hour away, a little less than half an hour away from kickoff. So again, tonight, Fox 16, 9:30 and 10:30, all the playoff action. Tyler Thomason, I'll be here giving you the latest from Vilonia, where they host the Win Yellow Jackets. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler. We're actually getting into the national anthem here, so we're going to try to wrap this thing up here. But again, 3 games here that you're really going to watch, especially coming up tonight on Fox 16 News at 9:30, kind of as the action is unfolding here. Also, make sure you check out our 10:30 show, where we have a full statewide wrap-up. We're going to be looking into those round 2 matchups, because this is what we kind of do. We look ahead. We're not on the field out here, so we can afford to do that a little bit. But if things play out the way we really think that they're going to, there are going to be some doozy of a matchups across the state come round 2. But that's going to wrap things up here. Again, Fox 16 News, 9:30. As things are happening, we'll hopefully get some live footage for you guys here. Also 10:30, full state highlight wrap-up show here as well. And make sure you check us out online, fox16.com, for all the highlights you maybe missed, maybe couldn't get home in time for those. And also check out Fearless Friday Underground. We'll be breaking down all the games that we've had out here tonight. But that's going to do it from here. We got about 10 minutes from kickoff across the state here. Get out, enjoy the games. That'll do it here for the Fearless Friday Facebook Live pregame show. Guys, enjoy the games.